is about themselves for every letter. And the second one that we wrote was a limerick. And the third one that we just finished was a couplet, where you have groups of rhyming lines. So they would like to recite their own poetry writing for you in just a minute. I know you've been sitting a lot, haven't you? You can stand up and walk around. Come on in. You let me know, too, when you're ready, when your grandma comes back. So, do you have any questions about it? Calvary Academy that I can answer? Anything? How are we different from, maybe a different school or maybe a public school? One of the biggest things is that we incorporate the Bible in everything we do. As the children are learning third grade, the reason that we learn how to write is because God communicates with His people through writing. So the reason grammar, and believe me, we're not all, yay, grammar, are we? When we get out that grammar book and we start those writing lessons, that it's hard. But I tell them that is the reason we learn to write is because it was God's idea. He told Moses and He told the prophets and He told the gospel writers to go and write this down. And so we write because the Lord communicates through writing. So everything we do in class revolves around God's Word. And then what a blessing for me, I study, I'm in a Bible study in Denton, and we're studying the life of Moses. So we've gone through Exodus and then Leviticus, and now I'm in Numbers. And as I study, I get to come and share with the class what I'm learning in my Bible study time. So I can have devotionals in class, and all year long we've been learning about Moses together. And I can't wait to get back to school and say, oh, let me tell you what's happening to Moses now. Moses' life story is a narrative, it's a story. It lends itself well with teaching children because it's a story, although God's Word is stories that are true, right? We talk about that, the difference between God's Word being true and everything in the Bible being true versus Pinocchio or Little Mermaid or whatever. Usually that God's Word is actually history that did happen. So we're learning about Moses all year long. So it's a real privilege for me to be able to share my faith with this class. And the other thing that I enjoy as a teacher here at Calvary is if I have a behavior issue, and they're wonderful children, but we all have stuff, I do too, all of us, right? And so we get off the mark sometimes, and we are not with what God is expecting of us in our behavior. But what I love about the school is that when I correct behavior, I get to do it with God's Word. Like, for instance, we have pizza day on Thursday. Everybody wants to run in the pizza line and be very first. And I say, what did Jesus say? He said that we're to serve others. And the Bible tells us that we're to put other people's interests and needs before mine. So if you're running to be first in the line, and you're not doing what the Lord has called you to do. Because Jesus said those who are first are going to be last in my kingdom. So it's just those kinds of things that I can take their character and their hearts at a young age and just mold them into the likeness of His Son. Because that's why we're here, on planet Earth. The other thing that's wonderful is some of our curriculum that we use is Christian curriculum. And the science curriculum that I use is Apologia. And we're learning everything about the solar system and all of the other planets. And we've learned how God is a designer, and He's perfectly designed planet Earth just for us. And the science book is very good about going into great detail about other views and other scientists who think this, but then there's also Christian scientists that they have a good reason why they think and believe what we do. Excuse me. That's all right. Some of our curriculum is Christian. Jessica? Yes. Yes. You do. Yes, here's my question. Would you mind walking through your day? All right. We come in. We have an intensive phonics and spelling program that we usually start with. And so they have music and art first. So from 8:30, at the very beginning we have chapel, and there's Bible teaching, and we sing hymns, and we gather together for prayer, and that's how we start our day. We say the pledge. And then they go to their classes, and my particular class is music and art. Music is on Thursday and art is on Tuesday. And then when they come to me, we start with language arts. I try to get the language arts in the morning because they're a little bit more fresh for me in the morning, and language arts is pretty important. So we'll do writing, we'll do spelling, we'll do grammar, we'll do reading comprehension, listening comprehension we do. And then we'll go to lunch and we'll come back and we'll do the math and science and history in the afternoon. So that's pretty much our day. Afternoons are hard. These windows are fabulous, but it gets really hot in here in the afternoon. And then we eat and we come back and we're all just, So I have to do all these kind of creative things to try to make it fun. And I do little crazy stuff. No telling when they get home telling. I throw them, not throw them at them, but we just have fun. When my markers go dry, I say, who thinks I can make it? And I'll try to shoot the marker into the trash can, which is usually right here. We do 4, we just put, you just have to get them up, and you can just give them breaks and get them up moving. It's a long day. Thanks. A lot of work. Well, and on that note, we do have an accelerated curriculum here. We do have very high standards for education at our school, but that is a good thing. We can always push ourselves more than we think we can do, and we do it in grades, but we do push, and that's good. They're able. They are able. Haven't had one yet who is not able to do the work. Okay?
And sometimes when she gets her pen out of the bucket, she'll pull a marker out and start throwing it at us.
Well, I just was dropping stuff, so I just started kind of at SeaWorld, how the front row is flashing out. This road is in danger at any point. I haven't hurt anybody yet, though. All right, are you all ready? One thing I do to try to make it fair in terms of calling on kids is we just pull sticks, and I just mix them up, and I just pull a stick, and that way the order is a little bit more fair. And feel free, if you need to go at any time, I think we have about an hour. If you need to visit another class, it's not going to upset us at all if you need to get up and go, okay? Feel free to do that at any time. All right.